Hey everybody, after a long hiatus, Luke is back with us.
Hey.
Right there. And we are rapidly approaching the end of our primer for anti-racist white educators. We have two principles left, and so today's is
Grow. This is about like personal growth. We talked earlier in this series about learning and how you're responsible for your learning. It's not anyone else's burden to bear but yours, etc. You can go back and review that one. But growth is about going through the process and kind of we framed it as kind of taking your lumps but not giving up on what we're trying to do.
Yeah, exactly, right? Like anything you do, any type of physical activity or mental activity, right? Like writing an essay or, trying to do a kettlebell workout.
Kettlebell.
Sorry, kettlebell workout. Or running a marathon or whatever. Like there's going to be those moments where you fail, right? And in this work, you're going to do the same thing. You're doing racial equity work, racial justice work. You're going to say something that is centered in whiteness and that really upsets people of color or colleagues of color that you're working with. You're going to, there's a couple of colloquialisms I like, right? Like hop out of pocket or leave your lane. And you're going to get called to the floor for that. And how do you respond to those, lumps, as Luke put it? How do you respond to those obstacles? Because I think inherently the natural state of white people in our country and for myself is to quit. Like, well, then I'm just not going to do it.
Yeah. And also as educators, we're used to being the authority in the room and to being right. Our job is to teach, to inform, and when you're in the wrong, or if you're learning something, not necessarily in the wrong, but maybe just growing, learning something, that can't happen without accepting what you don't know and accepting what you're learning about what you don't know. And that's tough as the expert in the room, on a day-to-day basis to kind of step outside of being that. You got to be the student, I guess, is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, absolutely. And then, like the whole idea of grow is that you're never quite the same anymore, right? Like you're getting better, you're learning more, you're constantly improving. And that doesn't mean that you're ever going to get to a place where you've arrived, right? If you're a white and you're doing this work, there is no arriving. You will never get to a point where you are just going to be such a racial justice superstar that you are never going to, fall back into, your white frame of references. The whiteness is too steeped into how we were raised, how our worldview is, what our society does, what our media that we consume is, for us to ever fully escape it. So this is really about just continuing to strive, always forward, always upward, and trying to grow into this.
All right, keep growing.
Keep growing, and we'll see you for the final video sometime. I don't know when. Thanks.